Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to NJPW Puroresu Review. I am your co-host, Andre C. Right over here, it's the strawberry margarita workout princess herself. It's Melball. How you doing, Melball?
I am doing all right, Andre. I'm feeling a little icky today. I think I might have picked something up in our outing on Friday. There was a lot of people out there. I was doing a lot of shit. It was all kind of crazy cupcakes. But my pre-workout, wrestling inspired today.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's strawberry margarita. And as Andre and I were pondering before we came on here, does this make me an alcoholic? I'm having a strawberry margarita flavored pre-workout first thing in the morning before, and enjoying it. Like, it is a fantastic pre-workout, but man, I'm concerned now.
Yeah.
The other one that I have is a sangria. I think I have a problem without having a problem. There's no tequila in it yet. There might be by the end of the day if it makes it.
You might need it after this show's over.
Oh my God, yeah, dealing with my dunk today. Yeah, absolutely. How are you doing, my friend? Mr. Birthday Boy himself.
Yeah, it was my birthday we recorded the Sunday with my birthday on Saturday. I did the live stream with Ed on my birthday, talking some Marvel. I got a live stream with our boy Mark Talks, whose birthday it is today as we record this.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday to Mark Talks. So we're gonna get together and talk about me, I guess, on his Mark Talks show tomorrow on
his interview series.
So,
yes.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Does he really know that much? Does he really know that much about me? That's the question.
He's gonna, because he talked to yours truly, looking for questions and responses.
Did you put him in touch with Mike?
No, but I think I asked some Mike level question.
I was gonna say Mike could be the person that, out of anybody now that anywhere near connected to him, would be the person that knows me better, like of the old me, anyways.
Mm-hmm. I would say so. Yeah. Shut up, Mike the Ref. Who we saw on Friday.
Yeah. Oh my God, we're gonna talk about that when we talk on the next edition of Chopped Up. But Mike the Ref made a human form appearance at a wrestling event. Wow, dude, he hasn't been to a show since January when we were at the LPW Oil Kings event. And since that was the year before in June for the first ever Effie event at Top Talent. Correct. So, yeah. Mike in human form. It was awesome.
It was a full body apparition.
Yep.
But we love you, Mike.
We'll talk more about that on Shop Talk coming up on our Top Talent review.
Top.
Where we got to see a wonderful Donovan Dijak versus Weston King as the main event. But we'll talk about that later. We're here to talk some Japanese professional wrestling days 11, 12, and 13 from last week. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday shows.
Yes.
An easy match of the year contender match here that was on day 12 and even day 13. There was a stellar bout that you happened to pick on that show. So we're going to get into it. But before we do that, I want to thank each and every one of you. Thank you all so very much for joining us here. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below because we love hearing from you. Everybody, Riri Z, Joe Demetrius, keep coming in hot with all the comments. They're your comments and I will shout you out on here. And don't forget to share us out to your friends, family, and just crazy little weird people who happen to run through bushes. And don't forget to hit a notification bell so you can be alerted every time we drop a new video.
Ding dong.
Hello.
Who is running through bushes?
Nobody. I just made that up. See? It's my brain. It doesn't work right.
That's what happens when we get older. Sorry. Should have warned you about that.
So we're going to that's what happens when you turn 37, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
We move over and we're going to talk about some G1 Climax. We kick it off with day number 11, A block matches. And this is the week of Chris Charlton on this week. We had Chris Charlton back for all 3 days. I was like, Chris Charlton for 3 straight appearances. I was like, yes, let's go. The team is.
Yeah.
I was liking it. I was liking it.
I'm thinking that I may have watched a day. I did. Okay. For the day 14, we got a different person.
Yeah, I'll be watching that later today. So
yes, I watched that last night.
Nice. So we kick it off with the Great Khan versus Callum Newman Battle of the Empire Part 2. Because we had Cobb versus Henare, now we're having Khan versus Newman. I thought really good, and I like it's 2 guys that know each other very well, and how they flowed together. I really liked it. The end of this match, though, Khan with a beautiful reverser of the Os Cutter into the Sheep Killer, turns that into the Flatliner, and Khan finishes it with the Eliminator to eliminate Callum Newman from the tournament officially.
Irony in the name there, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a really great match in that, as you mentioned, like the 2 of them just flowed so well together. Khan, ever impressive with his ability to just adapt to whoever he is wrestling with, and Callum really just showing off everything that he's capable of doing, and Khan equally being showed off in this match. This was a really fun one,
yeah. There was a great spot in here where Newman went for the tornado kick, but like Khan just grabbed his arm and arm dragged him right through it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, great counter. And he does a similar thing on night 13 with, I think it was Sanada. Yeah, I think it's Sanada. We'll talk about that on there. Dude, cool. When he countered the Shining Wizard, it was some really cool stuff here. Khan has some really cool counters. Same like Zack Sabre Jr. They both are very built in that technical aspect that they can counter all these moves from weird angles, and I really like it.
I agree.
So we move on to Melball's pick. Not surprised here. Jake Lee versus Gabe Kidd. Lee bringing the beers to the ring to have beers together after the match. You know, they're boys. They're part of the Bullet Club.
They're dogs. They're dogs for real.
Dogs for real, you know? Well, it's not this anymore. It's this. They hit back of the fist now.
I know you could just
Why? Oh my god! Arf, 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 arf.
We're making the wrong things hard, Andre. Wrong things hard.
That's so much easier.
So much easier. Oh, my face.
It's a good thing there's not an audio version of this show going out. Because people would just be like, what the hell is going on?
What's going on right now? Holy Jeebus, Murphy.
Holy Jeebus.
Too sweet, too funny.
Ugh, plain water, so gross.
You good, sir?
Yeah. But yeah, so they bring beers down, and he puts the beers in the corner, and he goes to get up, and Lee and Kid just boots him off the apron. They end up brawling on the floor. Kid attacking Lee with a steel chair. Ends up getting out of the way. Lee ends up, or Kid throws a table, but he gets out of the way, and he ends up dropping Kid with a punch. He hits Kid with a chair. They brawl in through the crowd into the stands, going literally through the people, like through the rows too. Not even like around in the like the main walk here. They went through the rows. I was like, okay,
it's chaos, yeah.
And this is the venue. It's Corkin, so it's got that raised seating venue, and you've seen some really cool stuff in the venue. And they're up on the upper walkway in between the crowd. And Lee gets a giant killing knee. They brawl back to ringside. Lee running Kid head first into the table, leaving a dent in it. Like, listen, was it Finlay and somebody years ago just put. I remember that somebody slamming somebody's face into there and putting a dent in it in a New Japan show. Juice. That was it. And just the when Finlay was still a face, Juice put Finlay's head into the table and it just dented it.
No, it was Juice's face that went into it, remember?
Oh, it was Juice's? Okay, yeah, one of the two
that
faces.
was when he cut his forehead, when he cut the first little, yeah. I remember that because that was such a cinematic gold moment because the camera was right in front. Juice's face hit, and you know how animated Juice is with his facials. It's just, it was the perfect.
All those facials.
Did you not hear the chant that Kat and I were doing on Friday?
No.
We'll talk about that on Chop Talk.
It was very loud in that place. Like, it was hard to hear.
We were directly behind you, but it was very loud.
Yeah. So yeah, they end up getting back in the ring. The Kid gets a nice lariat for 2.
Is that when the bell also started?
Yeah. Now the match officially starts. And yeah, the strikes between these two were just insane, but nothing compared to night 13. But man, these were insane.
This was a precursor, we'll say.
Yeah. Lee gets a choke slam early on in the actual official match. Just the back and forth, man, with the strikes in here. Kid getting a ripcord into a freaking slap.
And he has just been absolutely on fire this tournament with his strikes. Like, just landing every single thing, thudding it. His strikes have been so good. He has been the prime definition, Gabe Kidd, of British strong style in this tournament.
Yeah. So Lee ends up hitting a face break shot on the rope, sending Kidd to the floor. They brawl on the floor. Lee hits a German. Lee hits a drop toe hold the Kid into the barricade at 18, and he dives back in the ring at 19, and Kid is counted out. They end up doing the back fist. A lot easier that way. As a sign of respect after the match. And my question is, does Lee get a shot at the Strong Openweight Championship in America at some point in the fall?
I sure hope so, because I would love to see these guys go again. That was a hell of a freaking match. I would love to see it going for something other than G1 Climax points. Because if that match was that good already, and it was just for points in the G1, could you imagine how much these two would step up even further for the NJPW Strong World Championship? Hell yes. Give me that. Absolutely. Yeah, it's smart bastard, man. I'm telling ya, appropriately named, and what an acquisition for Bullet Club War Dogs. And to see them be able to have this intense of a match and be cool afterwards. Like, we've seen the guys in Bullet Club do the post-match stuff beforehand, more during the Cup or the Super Juniors in the undercard stuff. We would see them kind of hesitantly, like, yeah, okay. Especially with like Chase and Kenta, Ishimori, there's definite hesitation there. Whereas these guys, they had an all-out brawl, and they're like, yeah, cool. See you after for beers. Like, it was totally an oddly interesting sportsmanship match without being a sportsmanship match at all, because they were beating the shit out of each other. They were taking it outside, and that would arguably be non-sportsmanship, but it was so just poetically perfect. That has been my word a lot in this G1, is poetic.
Yeah.
Because there's just been such great stories that suddenly come out of nothing. These guys are working really, really hard to make this tournament so much more than just pairings of people. Like, there's not to say that there isn't matches like that, but there's a lot of work by the more experienced wrestlers happening in this tournament to put over stories that are just kind of created, and to put over either new wrestlers or established ones like Gabe Kidd, who are already here and have been grinding for a hot minute. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you
again,
for coming to my Melball talk.
again, amazing. So we move on
Yes.
to the shortest match in the G1 this year, and legitimately my most entertaining match of the G1 this year. It is Zack Sabre Jr. versus Evil. So
Yeah.
Evil dragging Zack Sabre Jr. out to the ring. They attacked him backstage.
Mm-hmm.
They end up hitting him and the little dick hit the magic killer to him in the ring. Match gets started. Evil's just repeatedly pinning Zack Sabre Jr. for 2, and he's getting more and more mad. And he gets a pin. He gets frustrated with the ref, and then all of a sudden Sabre gets a sunset flip. 1, 2, 3. It's over in 19 seconds.
Yes. Yes.
And Sabre does his escape, runs up the stairs into the crowd, starts celebrating, and then Evil and his little dick just go chasing Sabre around, and there's a young lion chasing after them, and it was if all I could imagine was those old like British shows where it's like
Like Scooby Doo. That was all I could think as the hallway scene of Scooby Doo, where Zack Sabre Jr. runs from
and they were
one door to the other, and the evil in Togo.
It was so good, and then eventually Sabre comes out, goes into the crowd, gets a British flag, and goes back to the entranceway and starts doing the matador, like Toro, like or like Ole, whatever the hell they say. I don't know, Toro,
Ole,
whatever it is. And he's doing that. Then he runs to the back with the flag. It was perfection.
It was glorious. It was absolutely glorious, and couldn't have happened to a better guy in Evil. I mean, we knew he was going to have a downfall, especially seeing how dominant the start to his tournament was. Been on a bit of a downward spiral since picking up that first loss, and I couldn't be happier for it. Thank you, Gato, for fixing it. Yeah, this was entertainment, cinematic gold. I loved it.
Pure comedy, pure awesome. So we that match, we did the entire match for you on that one. So, we move on. Tetsuya Naito versus Shota Umino. Actually, I think a really good, strong match from both men here. I think they worked really well together. Towards the end of the match, the crossroads by Umino, and then he falls over the inverted DDT. They keep calling the inverted twist and shout, and I hate that because the twist and shout is from the suplex position, not from the inverted DDT position. Eat my dick. Naito stops the suplex, and he ends up hitting a brain buster. Umino stops Destino into the Fisherman Buster, Death Rider stuff. Like, he picked him up like Fisherman Buster style, but then hooked the arm and brought him down like DDT style. It was like a Fisherman Buster Death Rider. It looks so good. I was like, that should have been the ending. He gets 2. Umino hits the Blaze Blade, and he lifts him up, starts spinning of that swinging Death Rider for 2. And then they each are he only has 2. Naito goes for a Destino. It's reversed into Death Rider, which was reversed back into Destino. But as he's up for Destino, he does it up and roll around, bringing Umino into the small package, or the Destino package, for the win.
Nice little quick end for him. Yeah.
He's won a few matches now with that little Destino package.
And I feel like this was, I don't want to say an easy match on him, but certainly in the grander scheme of things that Umino has been dealing with up until this point, this match was not as groundy poundy as he's been dealing with. So I feel like this was a little bit easier on his hip injury there.
Yeah.
But we are seeing a lot more tape kind of creeping up that lower back slowly. I am really hoping that after this G1 that Umino is able to kind of rest up that hip and come back, back at an actual 100%.
Well, he'll get
his Delulu 100%.
He'll get about 3 weeks before the next tour starts at the start of September. So
I hope he rests up though, because some of these wrestlers, they'll just train right through those injuries, and we see what happens when that happens.
because they have announced Road Destruction in Kobe on September 29th, and that tour starts
Okay.
on the 6th. Then you have the King of Pro Wrestling tour starting, which also includes the Yuji Nagata anniversary show in there, the 40th anniversary Yuji Nagata event in there. Which King of Pro Wrestling then is on the 14th of October, and then they announced Super Junior Tag League, which ends at Power Struggle on November 4th. So,
Oh dear.
yeah,
Glorious, glorious chaos.
glorious chaos. Like at least he'll get a break in October and early November. Super Junior Tag League.
He would definitely need it to rest up that hip. Very concerned about that.
Oh, and something super positive about Super Junior Tag League. There's only not, including Power Struggle, which has the finals. There's only 9 events in total.
Interesting.
So I think we're only going to be getting about 8 or 9 teams in it this year in one block. I'm okay with that.
I am too, but I also love these tournaments as an opportunity, as evidenced by Jake Lee, as evidenced by Konosuke Takeshita. I love it as an opportunity, and a Jay in Stardom. I love it as an opportunity to get more exposure to more tag teams. And we do know that in NJPW in particular, both in its junior division and its world division, they're struggling. They are struggling for tag teams. So I'm curious to see who it is that they could throw together at this point to try to combat the Bullet Club War Dogs and Catch 22. You know, other than those two teams, especially for the junior division, I'm struggling to come up with another team that I think could be in the Super Junior Tag League. So I'm interested to see who they use to fill those blocks.
Yeah.
ABC.
ABC. It's the easiest. Well, the problem with the ABC is they're now in partnership with with WWE in TNA, so that might not work out.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So we move on to the main event. My pick for the show, even though truly my number one pick was Zack Sabre Jr. beating Evil, but because there was barely a match there, I'm like, I gotta at least give it to a full-on match. I'm giving it to Shingo Sanada, and you know me, I'm not the biggest Sanada guy, but I think Shingo Takagi brings something out of Sanada. Gives him a little bit of life, gives him a little bit of something to work with. And I thought these two, Takagi was a great spot earlier, just popping Sanada up on his shoulders and like catch him on his shoulder and just off gut buster. I was like, just up, down. I was like, that looked really good.
Simple but effective.
Simple but effective. Takagi hitting the Tanahashi twist and shout in here. Sanada getting the magic screw, kips up but misses the Shining Wizard. Takagi starts with strikes, but Sanada pops him up onto the shoulders and TKO. Looked really good. Sanada backflips German at one point, hits a Shining Wizard to the back of the head. Takagi blocks another Shining Wizard attempt, but Sanada slips out of a Dragon Screw, hits the Shining Wizard, then goes up for the rounding body press for 2. Only 2. Dead full stop. Takagi pushes Sanada into the ropes and just again pop up into that Death Valley driver. It looked so good. Made in Japan is reversed into Deadfall, which is then reversed back into Made in Japan for 2. That sequence looked so good.
They flowed very, very well together.
Mm-hmm. So the end of the match comes. Takagi's unloading with elbows. Sanada drops Takagi with a strike and hits the Shining Wizard. Takagi fights back and it's an extra pumping bomber, as it was called on commentary. He goes for Last of the Dragon, but it's reversed into Deadfall, and Sanada gets the win. Again, amazing. I thought these two did so well together.
Yeah, they flowed very, very well together. And as you mentioned, Takagi did bring something out of Sanada. We saw some extra expression. We saw some extra pizzazz, some razzle dazzle, if you will, coming out of Sanada in this match. And like maybe it was that there was a slight kind of history there with them being on Los Ingobernables de Japón for just a little bit of time, just a little bit, long enough to form a bit of a brotherhood kind of there. So it did help kind of build on the story there. But these guys had an incredible match together that the story wasn't even necessarily required. They just flowed so well together. Yeah, I don't have anything to add to this.
So quickly before we jump into the next day, I'll give you a point. I don't have a point graph for this, but I have a point graph for the next 2 days. A block, Zack Sabre Jr. and Evil both on top, 5-2, but Sabre officially in first place over Evil with the tiebreaker decision there. You have Naito and Sanada each with 8 points. Then you have Great-O-Khan, Jake Lee, Gabe Kidd, Shota Umino, and Shingo Takagi all with 3 and 4 with 6 points. And then in last place eliminated is Callum Newman with 4 points.
Still impressive that he's got 4 points on there and then didn't come out with a 0 like some have in the past.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, very impressive. And the wins that he picked up, too. Super impressive.
And he still has a chance to move up and get 6 points in this. Like, it's still possible. Like,
absolutely.
I know where he's at, obviously, because I know of what's happened on.
We'll get there.
We know what's happened in the next match.
Yeah.
But again, he still has one more after day 13. He has day 15 to possibly get another win. So, we move on day 12 of the tournament, and we kick it off with Jeffka versus Oleg Bolton. What was my kind of second place pick for this show?
Bolton Oleg.
Bolton Oleg. Man, why does I copy and paste stuff?
I don't know. It's literally written right there.
Yeah, but I'm reading my notes and I copy and paste usually the match cards from Cage Match, and it is in German and it gets translated, so it flips it to Oleg Bolton for some reason, even though that technically is his legal name. I know it is Bolton Oleg in his wrestling name. I apologize. This is the battle of the Olympian level wrestlers. Both these men have represented Guam and Kazakhstan in Olympic level wrestling, so I thought these two had a really great match. There's Cobb shaking off the Bolton shake and yelling, "That's my move!" and gets a Hawaiian shake in this match.
Yeah. Bolton did eventually get his Bolton shake, though.
Yeah, he ended up dodging a lariat, hits a German, he picks him up. Because Cobb only could get 2 Hawaiian shakes off. Bolton got 4 Bolton shakes. And tosses Cobb across the ring. Dude, it was great. The end of this match comes, though. Aloha Maker gets signaled, but Bolton reverses into the kamikaze, but Cobb kicks out at 2.9999, like that last possible millisecond. I thought it was over there. I thought they were getting Bolton there. Bolton fires up, goes for kamikaze again, but Cobb slips out of this one. They start smashing into each other with lariats. Cobb hits the thrust kick, follows with the lariat, the huge, like an extra pumping Hawaiian smack or something. I don't know what to call it. I don't know what to call it because it's a pumping bomber. The extra Hawaiian smack, whatever you want to call it, and drop Bolton with the lariat. He picks him up. Tour of the Islands for the win. Again, really good match. This is the match that we were. It was either we just talk about one match on this show that we both wanted to pick, or we throw matches. This was like my third place on this show. But man, it was good.
Like I felt that this show and the 13th were difficult for me to pick favorites because each match gave something different, and it just kind of got better and better and better as the night kind of went on. But yeah, this match was super fun. It was the battle of the big men, and I felt that there was like a fun level of just respect, mutual respect of these two, where it was like just like a nice little fun show off match for how strong both these guys were. And the more I've heard it throughout the tournament, the more I'm really starting to believe it because I'm starting to see it. I really don't feel that Bolton knows how strong he is. I feel like he is still unlocking, like he's in a perpetual state of leveling up each match that he does. And he unlocks more and more strength as he goes. Because if you'd have asked me at the beginning of this tournament if we could see Bolton yeeting Jeff Cobb across the tournament, or across the ring, I'd been like, maybe. But as the tournament has progressed, that maybe has turned into a quite possibly into a full on frickin' yes. So yeah, it's we're seeing this slow character unlocking of Bolton that I'm kind of living for. And it's not taking away from anybody that he's wrestling. It's so great. I love watching these newer wrestlers gain so much experience from wrestling these guys and like so good. Same thing with Callum. We've seen him like how good he is slowly being unlocked in this tournament. I love seeing that growth.
Me too. Again, it's amazing. And while he is not young, he's 31 years old. The guy has so much ability behind him in his technical aspect of training in Kazakhstan for so many years, and he's just showing how good his natural talent is. Just being in the span of what, a year and a half ish, 2 years since he joined the dojo, and how good he is being a featured member now on the roster. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So we move on to my third match of the year contender list from this tournament. The match that me and Mel both wanted to pick as our match of the night. So we decided to just each pick our other matches and give this its own little highlight. El Phantasmo versus Konosuke Takeshita. Oh my god!
Wow.
Yeah.
Just wow. Take us into it, Andre, because just wow.
Because this is a revenge match if you really think about it. From it's almost a revenge from that Blue Thunder bomb off the apron through the table at Forbidden Door. That's what this is coming out of. Like, that's kind of their setup, and that's what took ELP out of that match, right? So just the striking, the kicks with each other, they're just going at each other so hard. Takeshita misses that power drive knee in the corner, ends up he jumps for that power drive knee, hits the turnbuckle, and just topples over. It looks so good. So ELP hits a beautiful tope suicida to the floor. He goes up, hits the moonsault off the top to Takeshita, who's now on the other side of the barricade in the crowd. They go into the crowd with the moonsault. It was crazy, man. Just looks so good.
There's one thing we do have to mention, though, also, real quick at the beginning of this. The jacket.
It was lit up.
He lit up the jacket. I'm so happy. So happy. Yeah. Continue.
Yeah. This is a different ELP here. Like, he's So they fight some more. Konosuke ends up setting up a table on the floor. They're fighting. It's a great spot where they end up fighting back and then kind of ignoring the table a bunch. You're like, okay, maybe it's just going to happen later in the match. Some great stuff. Power drive knee, but ELP stops a Blue Thunder bomb on the floor. Takeshita goes to the top. ELP's up there. They're fighting up top. ELP with like elbows, hits the Rana off the top, goes back up for Thunder Kiss 86, but it's that 2.99 style kick out. I was like, oh man. Later, ELP avoiding the poison Rana into his own just looks so good. And he hits CR2, but again, Takeshita out of that 2.999. Like, just everything was so smooth. They end on the floor. ELP hits sudden death on the floor, puts Takeshita on the table. He goes to the top, but Takeshita gets off the table. They end up fighting on the apron, and this is where Takeshita gets him into Tombstone, brings the legs down, bastard driver off the apron through the Japanese table, but those ones are way harder, to the floor. This also lacerated the back of ELP. He was bleeding profusely from his back.
In a couple of places, it looked like there was at least 2 or 3 cuts.
Yeah, this was insanity here. So ELP does make it back into 19. Takeshita with a hard elbow, but ELP reverses Raging Fire into a small package for 2, then hits sudden death for 2. Again, they're going back and forth. He goes for Itabashi, that layover pin, but he couldn't get it. Just the reversals from both of these two and into the and then ELP gets a victory roll, but Takeshita then rolls that through and hits a wheelbarrow German and then a lariat for 2. Hits a power drive knee, but ELP kicks out of that last moment. So Takeshita picks him up, raging fire. And Takeshita is your winner, eliminating ELP from this tournament. But holy shit, Takeshita even like gives him like a clap after and gives him like a little hug on the mat. Like that was impressive, man. Like just
yeah. This was like up until this moment, I was concerned about seeing ELP again, like El Phantasmo. It'd been a hot minute. You know, he was the man who lost his smile. This was the first match that I'd seen in this tournament where he got his smile back, where the crowd was like, the crowd has been fully behind ELP this whole tournament, but it was this match that he let them back in and let them support him again. And it was this beautiful match with the one of the hardest workers in this tournament in Konosuke Takeshita. Holy crap. This made me so happy to just see how 110,000% into this ELP was. It was just so amazing. He was doing the head flips a little bit at the beginning there. You know how much I love those head flips. It's super impressive. It's so simple, but it's like not everybody has that strong of a neck. Not everybody is capable of doing that. So it's really, really cool to see. There was also a kip up that Takeshita did. Again, simple but effective thing. It looked so good, especially with how long Takeshita is. Sometimes that could look really awkward with like those taller, long-limbed people doing that, but he just is so perfectionistic with his moves. The tope suicida by ELP on Takeshita, followed by the moonsault into the crowd, was just so crazy, so good. The Blue Thunder Bomb by Takeshita is ever impressive. Just the bounce that he gets off of everybody when doing that, so assertive, so good. I love it.
just a reversal of that, like it was ELP going for the tornado DT, and it reversed into that Blue Thunder. Looked amazing.
Yeah. Just these guys were so good. They flowed so well together. Poison Rana by ELP and the CR2 was just so good. The table spot was scary. I freaked out on that. And then seeing ELP bleeding after that point, I was like, Shaisa. This is Kenta and Hiroshi Tanahashi all over again for me. When ELP hit the sudden death on Takeshita after the table spot, I thought it was done. And I was actually really excited for it. I really wanted this win for ELP. I felt that he deserved it in this one.
Me too.
But I'm happy with what we got as a result. It was so good. So good.
I think these two just absolutely killed it in this match.
Oh, so much so.
So it does say Mott lister. I put match of the tournament list. It enters the 4 matches I have. I now have 4 after night. We'll talk about my 4th. This is my third one to enter the list, and this is all happening since day 9.
Yeah, this tournament has been fire.
And there were some great matches before, but these ones are like the top matches so far. We'll talk about them at the end of the year and what you have to go back and watch if you didn't watch the whole tournament.
Yeah, after night 9, it's kind of like you're getting into we're getting down to the wire. We need to secure those points. Kind of sense of urgency matches, if you will.
Oh, for sure. We move on to what is my pick, because we're not both, because we're getting the match of the tournament pick, and then there's this Henare versus Yota Tsuji. These two just smashing into each other, beating the out of each other, just trying to suplex each other, just a power side. And like Tsuji is taller than Henare, but there's such a power exchange here that it's just so good. Tsuji Rana's Henare to the floor and hits a beautiful corkscrew tope con hilo over the top to Henare on the floor. Back in the ring, Tsuji hits this beautiful looking gut buster for 2. It's just all the power in here. Tsuji They're up on top at one point. Tsuji gets a super Samoan drop off the top. Look phenomenal. Just the elbows from Tsuji when Hinare's firing up, nothing. And Hinare just drops in and just they trade kicks to the head of each other. More strikes, and Hinare comes out of nowhere with a berserker bomb. Just so much good stuff here. The Marlowe crash is missed at one point, and Hari just takes Tsuji's head off with a lariat. In the end of the match, though, they're smashing into each other repeatedly. Tsuji hits a knee to the head and another, but if this is like fires Hinare up and Tsuji starts unloading strikes, then Hinare comes right back with his own strikes, hits the dreaded liver punch. Tsuji dodges out of the corner, hits strikes, send Hinare into the other corner, but Hinare comes right back out, picks him up, or rampages him for 2. He then hits the native knee in the corner, they end up trading headbutts. Tsuji dodges a running knee and hits a Gene Blaster out of nowhere for the win. Incredible match.
Yes, this one was like, it was a very interesting one for me too, because there was a little bit of a story I felt in this one. Maybe it was just one that I kind of made up in my head. But Henare was just coming out of his young lion time. He was out of excursion as Aaron Henare when Tsuji was kind of going through his young lion thing. So it was interesting to see these guys kind of come back and the difference in pathways that they took to get to this point meeting in the G1 Climax. Yeah, I don't have too much to add to this one.
Yeah. I just thought really strong match from the two of them. We move on to a match that happened on this show. Actually, probably the weakest match I watched on this night because everything else exceeded it by a good part. Well, this match wasn't bad. It never got into that gear for me, and then I think it really hurt by the fact that Kanemaru got involved in this and just things down for me because they were having a really good match together, and then Kanemaru had to get involved. So the end of the match comes. Narita ends up grabbing the ref, gets a low blow on Uemura, and gets a German for 2. Narita ends up grabbing the ref again. Kanemaru attacks, but misses the Santori surprise. Uemura sends him to the floor. Narita gets the push-up bar, but Uemura kicks it out of his hands, hits a dragon suplex for 2. Narita shoves the ref into the corner, kicks Uemura in the cojones, up kicks him in the face, and hits the double cross for the win.
It disappoints me so much because we know what a competent wrestler Ren Narita is. And the character development he has done with House of Torture has been so good. But why? Why, when you add more than one of House of Torture to the frickin' ringside, does it just go down the toilet? It sucks. And I love Kanemaru. I thought that Kanemaru was honestly one of the best requisitions that, is that the right word? Acquisitions, requisition. He was one of the best people that House of Torture could secure. He is the heel master. It was weird seeing him on Just 5 Guys being a face when he's the heel master. It makes sense for him to be here. But the House of Torture shenanigans remove from the quality of the match. Why? Gato, you know the Stardom connection. Watch some Oedo Tai, please. Watch how Hate is doing their thing now. Not Kamatani, because she's kind of awkward. But like watch how Momo and Ruaka and Tora do their shenanigans. Those are the shenanigans done properly and at appropriate times in the match. Take some notes.
Yep.
That's what I would rather see. If it was done in an Oedo Tai manner, this would have been a lot better. But it was done in a House of Torture manner, which made it torturous.
Yeah, very much so. I don't know, just yeah, I don't know. This one just it didn't quite ever hook me. It was a good match. There was some good technical stuff. Narita working that knee bar throughout.
Mm-hmm.
But then Kanemaru just had to get involved, and it just took me out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Move on to the main event. Mel's pick. It's Hirooki Goto versus David Finlay. Finlay good bit of tape on his left arm and shoulder now. Starting to really build up there. Great reversals here. They end up on the floor after Finlay hot shots Goto and Russian leg sweeps him. He ends up running him into the barricade and bites him in the forehead on the floor. They end up back in. Some really good stuff in the ring with these two. Again, these two just finally flow so well together. Finlay biting at the fingers of Goto. I was like, ew, you don't know where his fingers have been. They touched.
Don't you put it in your mouth.
They might have touched.
It in your mouth.
They might have touched Yoshihashi. You don't want that. You don't want Yoshihashi germs.
He was at ringside on commentary.
Yeah, you don't want Yoshihashi germs, man. Don't bite Goto's fingers. It's gross. It's gross.
Maybe that's how you get, the G1. The G in the G1 stands for Goto. Maybe that's how you unlock his powers. Isn't there like an anime somewhere where if you like bite a certain thing, you like turn into a Titan or something? An Attack on Titan? I don't know. Maybe that's what he was looking for. He was looking for his Attack on Titan button.
My anime knowledge is very limited.
Mine too. Help girl out.
Yeah. Great reversals. They're reversing each other's moves. Goto pushes Finlay into the ropes and pops him up onto his shoulders and gets a beautiful Ushikaroshi. They're trading hard strikes. Goto gets the inverted GTR and the lariat. He goes for the full GTR, but it gets reversed into a crucifix for 2 by Finlay. Goto ends up dodging out of the corner. Finlay gets run in and gets set up into the corner. And Goto hits a one-man Shota, but he only gets 2. Finlay reverses the trash panda, or reverses Goto into a trash panda into oblivion for 2. He gets a buckle bomb and power bomb, but can only get 2. Goto ends up dodging the shillelagh that Finlay had and headbutts Finlay, getting shillelagh and just goes, huh, and just tosses it out of the ring.
Well, like he gently yeets it. Like he looks like he's going to toss it, but then he drops it. He's not Dijak.
True. He's not hitting fans in the heads with objects. Yeah.
No.
Tune into Chop Talk for more about that. Goto gets a chest kick and then hits GTW, but he only gets 2. GTR gets reversed into a backslide, but Goto stops an attack, Finlay going for a move with a headbutt. Gets him in the GTR. Hammer locks the arm. GTR for the win.
Wow. Like I knew that Goto was going to kind of have like a Cinderella moment in this. I didn't think it was going to be against the global champion, though. I honestly thought that they were going to give this win to Finlay, let him continue to be a loudmouth, because the loudmouth is working. It's getting attention. At the beginning of this, on his intro, Finlay antagonizing Yoshihashi at ringside. I'm not going to lie. Yoshihashi looking a bit like a puss. Wouldn't even look at Finlay. Kept looking down at the table, very much avoiding. I was like, dude, you fought this guy before. F him up. Don't sit there and be like coy about it. You've effed this boy up. Look him in the face. Be a man. Come on now. The one-man Shota by Goto. Shout out to Yoshihashi at ringside. I liked the little homage.
Mm-hmm.
There was the back body drop that Goto, I think that's what it was, the back drop that Goto did to Finlay on the exposed floor on the outside after Finlay had removed the mat. Did I call it right?
Yes, back body drop.
Yes, because I didn't hear the call on commentary, so I just kind of guessed. The one thing I didn't like about this match, though, was Gato's persistent involvement. I didn't feel that Finlay needed it. It was kind of inopportune at times. The only time that I think that Gato should have actively been getting involved was the shillelagh spot at the end. I feel like everything else was unnecessary. Because again, like Finlay and Goto, both very competent wrestlers. He wasn't necessary for the story or the help for Finlay at that point. So I felt that it wasn't at House of Torture level of annoyance, but it was starting to get there for me. Yeah, and then the shillelagh spot, I appreciated the safe yeeting of the weapon at the end, and I appreciated the win for Goto because again, I wasn't expecting it, but I'm very happy that it did happen.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Mm-hmm.
So we move. Oh, what the hell did I? Oh, I didn't put a graphic. What am I doing? I pressed the wrong way, didn't I? There we go. Buttons aren't working for me. So at the end of night number 12, B block, Jeff Cobb 5-2 with 10 points alone in first. Then we have a tie, a 5-way tie for second place with 8 points with Yota Tsuji, Hirooki Goto, Ren Narita, David Finlay, and Konosuke Takeshita, all with 8 points. But they did say online on Twitter that if the B block had ended after night number 12, it would have been Jeff Cobb in first, Hirooki Goto in second, and Yota Tsuji in third place through all the tiebreakers.
Wow. I'm glad someone else did the math because goddamn.
Yeah, I couldn't. I was trying to figure it out, but I'm like, I can't see how the tiebreaks work. I could not figure it out.
There's mathier people in the world than us, Andre. Mathier people.
Then Henare and Umino each with 6 points, and then eliminated from the tournament are El Phantasmo and Bolt No Leg, each with 4 points.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What a tournament. What a block. Block B has certainly been very exciting, hasn't it?
And there's still 2 nights to go for this block. So again, it anybody could be there. Like Yuya and Henare still have a shot at 6 points. Like how this 8-point clump, along with Jeff Cobb only with 10 points, he doesn't even have a guarantee right now to get in because he loses his last 2 and somebody beats him, like enough people beat him, he moved through. He could end up not getting in, and so it's like it's anybody's block still.
It's crazy, crazy really cupcakes.
Crazy cupcakes.
We're gonna have to make some crazy cupcakes at this point.
Yeah. Night number 13, we kick it off with Tetsuya Naito versus Callum Newman, LIJ versus United Empire. It's a battle that will never, ever end. I thought really good match, and I thought Newman got to really shine in here against Naito.
Oh,
yeah.
100%.
Some really nice super kicks throughout from Newman in this match. He looked really good. Flying all over the place. Though the end of this match comes, corner drop kick is missed. Corner drop kick is hit, but Newman misses off the top with the stomp. And Naito hits a spine buster. He again gets elbows to the neck. Newman avoids Destino and ends up popping him up into like a knee strike. It looked really good.
Yeah.
Newman goes for the Os Cutter, but Naito avoids it. Hits Desti, for 2. Then goes and hits the full rotation. Destino for the win.
I think Walker's been calling it like a short Destino or a half Destino.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
It's those quick, like I remember Kevin used to say it's the running Destino versus the full Destino. Like he's Destino, or just when he runs up and hits a Destino, it's like too quick or something like that. Versus
you can't get as much power or something.
Yeah.
The only thing I wanted to add is that I thought it was fun that Callum kind of jumped Naito at the beginning there, not even allowing Naito to get his clothes off, and running him through the gate, hopping over the gate. It was super, super impressive. Sucked that Naito paid him back for all of that in full, but it was still a really fun way to start the match off with that high energy, high intensity. Great way to start off the tournament part of the matches.
Yeah, I agree. Again, it was just a fun little high intensity way to do it. Yeah. So we move on to Sanada versus the Great Okan. I think this is a really good, strong match throughout. Like I said, there was a spot in here, just like similar to Khan versus Newman, where Sanada goes for the Shining Wizard, but Khan just catches the knee and just dragon screws him through with like a judo throw. Look, so good. So good. The end of this match comes. Khan removes the knee pad on Sanada, hits a knee breaker, but Sanada comes back with a TKO. He goes for the Shining Wizard, but Khan just straight right punches him in the jaw. Just sick. Eliminator gets blocked into an O'Connor roll, but that's then reversed into a choke. Khan stands up with the sleeper, goes for the sleeper suplex, but Sanada flips over, landing on his feet, hits a Shining Wizard to the back of the head. Sanada hits another Shining Wizard to the face, goes for a dead fall, but it's reversed into the Sheep Killer, into the Flatliner, and into the Eliminator for the win by the Great Okan.
I was pleasantly surprised with that. Pleasantly surprised, especially because Sanada has been put on such a pedestal, and like, not to say that he hasn't earned it, he definitely did with LIJ. It's just kind of been a slow kind of simmer for me since he did leave LIJ. The Great Okan, though, I'm about to go on a small little rant. I'm trying to understand why the company's sleeping so much on this character. He's so good. He adapts to every style that is thrown at him and gives that person an incredible match, whether they have the personality or not. And Sanada has been making a lot of personality development in this, but I feel like Okan has been that personality since arriving and, betraying Okada and joining the United Empire and Will Ospreay. We have seen him go through the heel stuff. We have seen him go through the face stuff. He is a complete package character. He is this Mongolian death lord character. He's visually appealing and he can change his appearance so easily with just what he wears to the ring. We've seen him come in athletic shorts. We've seen him come in those cool Mongolian pants. We've seen him just in trunks. We've seen him in such a variety of things. It's very obvious there's very little that he won't do. Why is he not being taken seriously? Why are we not seeing him a little bit more throughout professional wrestling?
I agree. Like, why is his ceiling so far been the KOPW title?
Yeah. I don't find that they're Kenta-ing him.
Yeah, I agree.
It's disappointing.
Move on to my pick.
Oh.
Well, my pick was Mel's pick, so I picked this one.
Oh. It's too if you had that one.
I didn't want to take your pick away from you, so I wanted to be nice, so I took this one because I thought this match was incredible. Umino jumping Lee before the bell, they brawl. Lee escapes to the floor. Umino following. They fight into the barricade, but Lee whips him into the barricade. Sorry, but he comes right back to the drop kick. Lee reverses a whip, sending Umino into the barricade. He gets a chair, hits Umino in the back. Marty starts yelling at Lee for hitting with a chair, but doesn't disqualify him for some stupid reason. I don't know.
This is Marty. He's probably scared shitless.
Yeah, I know. Throw some balls, dude. Lee goes for the Boston Crab ring. Umino fights it off. He ends up Umino goes for a drop kick and misses. So this is when Lee gets the Boston Crab, sits it down in deep, then transfers into the Lion Tamer variation. Then he goes back into the Boston Crab, sitting deep again. And Umino fights, and he eventually does get to the ropes. I just love the switch out of there, like between it. Excuse me.
No, he was very much working that lower back and hips of Shota. The change had to be very painful, and the change back had to be just as painful. He was really wearing Umino down there.
Mm-hmm. Umino ends up toe holding Lee into the ropes at one point. It's that plancha apron DDT. Look, I like that move. It looks really good.
Mm.
Comes back in with a drop kick off the top. Hits a fisherman suplex for 2. Umino ends up catching and running knee and drops Lee with an elbow. Umino is stomping at him. Lee gets up. They're trading strikes and just going back and forth, back and forth. Umino hits an exploder with Lee coming back with a German. Then Umino gets the blaze blade to the back of the head, and they're both down. Just so Lee gets him up for a torture rack, and he just drops him. And Charlton says he just dropped him like he was trash.
He did. And I immediately thought of you.
I loved it. Lee then hits a choke slam for 2. Lee lines up face break shot, but Umino flies out with a blaze blade to the face. Goes for a Death Rider, but it gets reversed with a giant killing knee. Lee hits kicks, sends Umino into the corner, and Lee hits the face break shot to stay alive for the win.
Yes. What a fun match this was. I felt this was actually a really solid match for Umino and an even more solid match for Lee. Because I felt that the way he was holding himself, like we've seen him come in with this confidence throughout this entire tournament. But this match in particular, his body language told me that he had 110,000% confidence in himself. The way he was just sauntering around. He wasn't walking with intensity or purpose when he was going towards Umino to like grab him and stuff in the ring or outside. He was sauntering. I felt he was very visually overconfident. And given what happened, obviously not unfounded in his confidence. I like seeing this evolution of Lee. He's definitely been somebody that I started noticing since his feud with Tetsuya Naito, but now joining the War Dogs, it's kind of like adding another level of viciousness to your repertoire when you join Bullet Club War Dogs. And I kind of live for it. I'm liking the interesting dynamic in joining whatever a Bullet Club affiliation kind of gets you, because if you join House of Torture, I mean, the benefit is you get some character work, but you're annoying as fuck. But then joining the War Dogs, you gain this intensity, this almost ever ready for war mentality. And Jake Lee is fitting in there just perfectly. I love it.
Yeah.
Good pick.
So we move on to Melball's pick of the show.
Yeah.
And all I can say is chops, 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 chops. Everybody chop, chop, chop.
There was a lot of chops. So it was definitely a go-to.
So they spent the first a few minutes just Kidd chopping the hell out of Sabre. Sabre coming back with his own chops throughout, but Kidd is like 90% of the chops. Like literally a few minutes in, Sabre's chest is turning raw.
Yeah, his chest was a different color than the rest of him through the entire match for sure.
Yeah, and you could see the blood vessels all up on the chest. You're like, I would like to see if Sabre got a picture of himself late the next day of what the chest looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, I would like
you know
to
what
see
else you noticed with that went along with those chops is the look of annoyance on Zack Sabre Jr.'s face every time Kidd would smack him. He'd just be like, God damn it. I'm sure it was the language in his head was a lot more colorful, but you could see the expression on his face. Zack Sabre Jr. isn't always someone that you could read by the expressions on his face either. He's usually quite stoic like his picture. He doesn't give away a lot, but in this match, he was giving away a lot. Very expressive.
Well, and they were on commentary telling a great story of how these guys faced in 2017, back when Kidd was still in Rev Pro, before he joined the New Japan Dojo in America. And yeah, dude, it's just telling the story of like how it's an evolution. This is a very different Gabe Kidd from the Gabe Kidd that Sabre did face back then. So I really like that little story they told there. There's some really cool stuff throughout this. Sabre reversing the tombstone into a European clutch for two. Um, uh, Sabre's like ties up the arm, stomps it, then flips and then brings him down again and stomps the arm the other way, and then Kid goes for a chop and then he chops him, but Kid drops just in pain from his arm. I was just beautiful storytelling right there.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful
Mm-hmm.
storytelling. Sabre gets a flying armbar to Kid when he's goes through a lariat, but Kid ends up like kind of rolling through and picks him up with a German. Just great. Sabre getting an octopus, but Kid reverses that into a tombstone for two. Just so much great stuff. So much good stuff here. In the towards the end of the match, so Sabre stops a pile driver, and he goes for a Gotch style pile driver, shouting out his old mentor Minoru Suzuki. Um, but it gets stopped. I was a little disappointed it didn't get hit. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Kid goes for a move, but Sabre reverses whatever he's doing into the Zack driver. Sabre gets an enziguri. And both men start dodging each other, and that Kid hits that rebound lariat for two. Looks so good. They trade shot. Trading slaps. Sabre gets a sleeper. Kid escapes, but then he gets it back on. But then Kid escapes again. But Sabre gets a sleeper back on. Kid, he doesn't down. Then he stands up. He's standing up, and he's like getting ready to fire up to throw Sabre up. But Sabre just like takes his legs, hooks them around the arms, pulls them back, and he's got so much torque on the sleeper. Kid goes to his knees, he goes to the ground, and Sabre puts Kid to sleep for the win.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
So good. And Kid, defiant until the end. When he stood up to try to fire up, he knew. I think he knew he was going to go down. And he just flipped off the crowd. Fuck all of you. Down he went.
Mm-hmm.
Defiant to the end. And I love it. Love it. Gabe Kidd has gained. He's still a Gabe Kidd. He's still war ready. He's still that dick without being a dick to go. He's not a little dick. But he has earned so much of the crowd's respect in this tournament by just being who he is in War Dogs. He's found his stride. He's found his niche. He's found, for the time, who he's supposed to be in professional wrestling. And Zack Sabre Jr. in this match helped him build upon that even more. Yeah, the chops at the beginning, again, as I mentioned, you could see Zack Sabre Jr. getting more and more annoyed each time that he was being chopped and kind of firing back a lot more stiffly than we usually see Zack Sabre Jr. fire back. I think my favorite part, though, was the part where they sat down cross-legged in the middle of the ring, and Kid's just beaking at the camera, and he takes that first about Shibata, I think it was, and he takes
He
that
yelled.
first shot at Zack Sabre Jr. Okay, go ahead.
Well, he's yelled, "Shibata, watch this!"
Yeah, so then he hit Zack Sabre Jr. and Zack Sabre Jr. immediately answered back. The look on Gabe Kidd's face, I don't think he was expecting Zack Sabre Jr. to return the receipt as hard and stiff as he was. And the look of like there was a temporary bewilderment on his face before it was like it became, oh, okay, this is what we're doing right now. Okay. And the shots that started going back and forth were just so perfect. I think it was the at the end of the trade-off there, Kid managed to knock Zack Sabre Jr. down before Jr. popped back up and returns to sender. But that moment was just so good because again, we're Gabe Kidd is just in a perpetual state of ready to go. But we were seeing in this tournament, and especially in this match, just that wide range of emotion that he goes throughout the matches. This was so good. It was so solid. I was pleasantly surprised with the end because I did expect Kidd to pick up the win on this one. So I'm pleasantly surprised that Zack Sabre Jr. managed to put the big dog to sleep.
And with this win, Zack Sabre Jr. guarantees himself first place in A Block. So this man doesn't have to wrestle until the semifinals.
Hey.
Because if Naito and Evil both get to 12, he has wins over both men. So he's guaranteed first place, and anybody else would be behind him in points. So,
Yay. Let's
so
go.
So it doesn't matter what his last day, if he wins, if he loses, if he draws, he is number one. So we move on. Main event of the show. It is Shingo Takagi versus Evil. Togo immediately getting involved right from the beginning, just grabbing at Shingo's foot, and I was like, "Oh, god damn it!" Like as he was coming into the ring, and Evil boots him off the apron, and the ref decides, "I'm gonna ring the bell." Just like, okay, at least okay, doesn't really work that way, but okay. They end up fighting on the outside. Yeah, I guess a home run shot to the chair on Takagi's neck. I didn't really like that. The match wasn't bad. There's just a lot of bullshit in this. The Bushi showed up and attacked Shingo Takagi, and everybody's like, "What?" And then Bushi
He fell. That should have been our first sign that he fell. Bushi doesn't fall.
And Bushi shows up to fight off Bushi, and it's revealed it's Kanemaru
who fell because Bushi doesn't fall.
Bushimaru.
Kanaushi.
Kanaushi, yeah. That happens. Hiromu gets involved here, but they end up triple teaming Shingo because they got rid of Hiromu and Bushi.
They hit Hiromu in the balls.
Yeah, they got dick-to-dick contact to Takagi, but Evil only gets 2. Darkness Falls is hit. Evil only gets 2 again. Shingo fights off. Everything is Evil. It's a big lariat. Shingo with elbows. Made in Japan is reversed into Everything is Evil, then reversed back into Made in Japan. But as he goes for the pin, 1, 2, Togo starts ringing the bell, which distracts the referee, which I don't know why, because do your job, you stupid red shoot bastard.
Let's be honest. If he didn't have the 3 count, he had to punish who he thought was Abe. It's not Abe. Yeah. Abe also got hit in this one.
Yeah. Look, every Evil match Abe gets hit. Come on. Or whoever's there if Abe's not there. He hits that guy.
It's always Abe.
Well, sometimes it's another guy though. But he hits him. Even if it's not Abe, he still hits him. Kanemaru comes in to shove Shingo into the ref, taking him out. Enziguri, Kanemaru takes Hiromu and Bushi out. He gets the whiskey bottle to the head. Evil tries Everything is Evil, but it's stopped. Magic Killer is then stopped by Hiromu, but Kanemaru takes Hiromu out. Kanemaru misses Shingo and gets the sanitary surprise to Evil. Then Kanemaru ducks the Bushi miss, with Bushi missed Evil in the face. And Hiromu drop kicks Kanemaru out of the ring while Bushi hits the Bushi rocket to the little dick on the floor. Shingo then follows up, pumping bomber to Evil, picks him up last of the dragon for the win.
Yeah, we needed this mainly because we needed House of Torture to fail, especially against Los Ingobernables. I love that Evil took not 1 but 2 shots to the face before losing. Love it. First the whiskey, then the mist. It's just perfection.
He got double facial, you know?
He did get He did. He did indeed. Yeah, a good win for LIJ. I'm still endlessly disappointed to not see complete camaraderie happening with the factions, but like at least Ren Narita didn't go out there as well.
Yeah.
Because then, well, then we would have had to see Tsuji, and that would have been nice. But I would like to see LIJ continue to be a little bit like start to show a bit more camaraderie, because they were very much before they were more bonded when Evil and Sanada were still a part of the faction. I feel since the exit of Evil and Sanada and the joiner of Shingo and Titan and Yota Tsuji, I feel like there's less backup coming out.
So what you're saying, Evil was the glue of LIJ.
Yeah. No, Sanada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, just like a certain promotion here who lost their glue. Yeah.
R.I.P. TJ Cannon.
Whoa, what happened to TJ Cannon?
He's not here.
Don't say R.I.P. Don't say R.I.P. That man is still alive, as far as I know.
He is, but he's not out here. We're asking where the glue is, and the glue's not here.
Don't say that. That is
the glue is kicking ass out east.
It is true. He's kicking ass in central Canada and Manitoba. So yeah.
Sure. I mean, that's further east than us.
It is. So point totals. Alone in first place, officially first place for the rest of the tournament in A block. Zack Sabre Jr. with 12 points. Then you have Evil and Naito both with 10 points. Then you have Shingo, Takagi, Great Okan, Sanada, and Jake Lee all with 8 points. So again, second and third place are still up for grabs. I think Evil, though, has tiebreakers over a few people here, though. So I think Evil might be guaranteed third place.
Let's hope not.
Yeah. But with Gabe Kidd, Shota, Umino, both with 6 points eliminated, and then Cal Newman was already eliminated with 4 points. Yeah.
What a tournament.
Yeah.
What a great tournament. And I already saw night 14, and that I haven't picked a match of the night for yet because the whole show was pretty good.
I'm gonna be watching the first day of the Stardom 5-Star Grand Prix after this, and then I'm gonna watch day 14. Yeah.
Yeah, we got all of that too. Plus, we have a Mari Gold show. So much. So much.
So much. So much.
Let's get her done so we can go watch so much.
So much. So much.
So much.
So much.
Oh, goodness. Crazy cupcakes.
Well, we have come to the end of another crazy cupcake edition of NJPW Puroresu Review. You can find me on the X at That Canada Guy, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads at That Canada Dude. You can find us on our Facebook page, Andre and Melball Wrestling Talk. You can also find me in the comment section of the BAM Weekly show, which will be changing very, very soon. So go over there and get part. It'll still be there, just under a new name. So go check that out. You can also find me over on twitch.tv/OurLocalEstablishment this coming Wednesday, where I will be doing an MCU Rebound with my boy, old Ed, where we're talking about the Ant-Man movie. So that, and then if you want, go check out the video we have currently just dropped on the OLE YouTube page. Check out our review of everything that came out of D23. All the information came out there. We talked about that. We talked about the Agatha trailer. We secretly watched a Daredevil trailer. We secretly watched the Fantastic Four footage. We talked about a bunch of animation stuff. Go check that out. Everything coming out of D23. And also, we'll make more big shout out to our boy Mike the Ref at youtube.com/@backbreaker videos. I'm casting all of our stuff. I'll bring some stuff up about a week to a week and a half after we drop it on our channel. So go check us out over there. If you want to see Mike live, go to twitch.tv/MikeTheRef for his AW Watch Along every Wednesday, Saturday, and pay-per-view Sunday. And also don't forget, and he plays video games every other day of the week. So go check him out playing video games. And if you're replays of that, youtube.com/@backbreaker_gaming where you get stuff from him, Mr. PJC, this little guy right here, Rick Jules, and frequent guest.
Kayla J. Kayla J. Kayla J. Kayla J. What the fuck? We love Kayla J here.
We do. Melball, where can they find you?
If you're wanting to follow on Melball, you can follow her on the X thing at Collins Melball. You can follow her on everything else, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, and Blue Sky at Melball Collins. You can also find me on our local establishment programming, Japanese Wrestling Update with this guy, every Friday at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, unless it's not. And then we will let you know on social media. I believe this week we are going to be live. Don't think we have anything going on. Yes, we're going to be live 8 p.m., which is good because we're probably going to have a lot of ish to talk about when we get there. So stay tuned to our socials to find out more about that. You can also find me on Astrid Bizarro's YouTube channel where we do our show, Ladies Wrestling Showcase. Shout out to the lovely Astrid. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about the natural, you can go back to our local establishment, see the interview done by Mark Talks with that beautiful lady.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be there doing that on Monday at 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
You couldn't let Astrid have that, could ya? You had to jack it. Back to Astrid. Astrid's interview is on there. So go check that out first before you go check this guy out. And you can also catch me on there in the 17th.
Mine's going to be better than Mel's for sure. I'm joking.
If you're wanting to watch New Japan Wrestling, we will leave a link in the description box below. It is njpwworld.com. Don't remember the kind of yen, but it works out to $14.50-ish Canadian. Or shout out Sean Spears for 10 Canadian, just because we love doing the perfect 10. Still an amazing price to watch some amazing professional wrestling. Distraction. If you're wanting to get a taste of what NJPW has to offer you, you can check out all their World TV title matches to see what they have to offer. What else is free on there, Andre? They have a match of the week every week.
Yeah, match of the week. They got a free section with a lot of older matches, some great matches from guys like Finn Balor when he was Prince Devitt. There's stuff from Kenny Omega, the Bucks. So a lot of different people in the free section. Go check them out. And they do specifically have a free English section, which has English commentary on it and everything. So pretty much anything that has English commentary attached to it, you can find by clicking in the settings to switch it over to the English commentary.
And there you have it. Andre, my trusted friend and colleague, do you have anything else to say to the beautiful people?
Again, just thank you so much for joining us here. We really do appreciate all the support. Please keep liking the video, subscribing to the channel, commenting down below. We love hearing from you. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can alert every time we drop. Or no. Please don't forget to share us out to all your friends, family, and kooky little monsters who happen to who like to pick fights with pit bulls in the yards next door. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted every time we drop a new video.
Ding dong.
Hello.
Don't be like Koji. Don't pick fights with pit bulls.
Yeah, those kooky little monsters like Koji, you know.
And that being said, I am your Melball. Over there is Andre. We will see you next time. Adios.